India's economic growth in the fourth quarter of last year sped up unexpectedly, 8.4% in the 3 months ended December.
India's bond market is on fire. In 2023, foreign investors bought 598 billion rupees worth of government debt.
Mumbai has 92 billionaires, the maximum in Asia. It has surpassed Beijing for the first time and is among the top 3 billionaire capitals in the world.
Let me stop it here and replay this.
Mumbai has 92 billionaires.
Great, but most of the wealth is with richest 1%. As per Reuters, out of 92 million Indian adults, the top 10,000 wealthiest individuals own on average $271 million US dollars. That's 17,000 times the country's average. We are looking at India's top 10 richest people. I'm pretty sure you might have heard their names or used their company products. Let me just pick one person in this list, and he's none other than Mukesh Ambani. He is the chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries. If I have to look at his wealth, it's 116.6 billion US dollars. If I convert 1 USD to 83.3 INR, that's around 9,747,000 crores. This is just approximate number. After looking at that numbers, I think you're just like me, wondering how could he have made that much money? But before that, I want to ask 3 things. What is money? How did United States dollar become global currency? How do you or someone can become wealthy?
They say that the best things in life are free, but there are lots of things we need and want that we have to pay for. We use money to buy things. But what is money? Money is something that we exchange for goods and services. When you think about money, you probably think about the notes and coins we use every day. But how did people buy things before notes and coins were invented? People used to swap or trade the things they had. This was called bartering. But there were lots of problems. What if the people couldn't agree on what their goods were worth? What if the person you wanted to buy from didn't want any of your things? What if people wanted to store their wealth rather than use it? Many goods didn't last. Imagine if all of your savings just rotted away. And have you ever tried carrying 10 chickens around in your pocket? Throughout history, people have used a wide range of different things as money, from cowrie shells to precious metals like copper and gold, and even rum. But not everything can be used as money. So what makes something money? Money needs to have 3 main features. First of all, it needs to be widely recognised and accepted as a means of paying for things. When you use a $5 note to pay for an ice cream, the ice cream seller is willing to accept it because she knows she can use to pay for something at another business. In other words, money needs to be trusted by people. Second, it measures the value of things. In the same way we use meters to measure length, we use money to measure how much something is worth. And the third thing that makes something money is that it provides a way to store value over time. That is, money doesn't need to be spent immediately. You can hold on to it in the form of savings and spend it in the future.
Great, I found the answer for my first question. Money is just widely accepted medium of exchange for goods and services. Now, let's hop on to the second one.
The dollar came to dominate trade after World War II. The US was the biggest economy in the world. Other countries were trying to rebuild, and the dollar, it was stable and plentiful.
In 1944, a conference of 44 nations agreed to peg their currencies to the US dollar, while the dollar itself was pegged to gold. As global trade grew, so did the use of the dollar to conduct the world's business. Even after the United States abandoned the gold standard in 1971, the dollar remained the world's currency of choice.
The world has gotten used to doing business in dollars because it's just easier than doing business in any other currency. The dollar is incredibly liquid, meaning it's easy to buy and sell things all over the world. The US banking system is very efficient, and those things combine to make it cheaper for businesses to buy and sell in dollars.
U.S. President Richard Nixon sent his Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger to Saudi Arabia for a secret meeting. The result was a pact that still stands to this day. As a direct result of this U.S.-Saudi agreement, all other oil-producing nations also adopted the dollar as the de facto medium of exchange.
Here's how a typical international transaction works in US dollars. A Canadian lumber company sells boards to a French home builder. The buyer's bank in France and the seller's bank in Canada settle the payment in dollars via correspondent banks in the United States. These correspondent banks have accounts at the United States Federal Reserve. The money is transferred seamlessly between these banks' Fed accounts because their status as correspondent banks means they are seen as safe counterparties.
US banking system and petrodollar system made United States dollar a global currency. Here is Geeta. She's working as software developer for a couple of years. After a couple of calls with her friend, she came to realize her friend is working late hours and stressing about not having enough time to dine at her favorite restaurant. After a couple of months, she did her research and thought creating an application for food delivery would be the best thing to do, with which people can order food from any of their favorite restaurant and can save their time and do what they like. Impressed with her idea, a couple of venture capitalists and angel investors gave her initial funding to build her product. The food delivery app was a huge success in the market from the day it was launched. Many downloaded and liked it. As the app usage grew, Geeta not only made money for herself, but also for her investors who believed in her idea. This is not a new one. It's a story of one of these guys who came from nothing and built something. Rather than stressing about your time and inconvenience, try to see what problems you can solve and scalable solutions you can provide. That's how these guys made wealth. Not by lending their time, but by creating solutions